a little bit and participate as best as they can. As I said, if you don't participate, people can never give you feedback. If you're doing good, you should keep on doing it. If you're not doing well, you made a mistake, it's okay. The practice is here. So that way we don't make the same mistake for a quiz this weekend. So I'm going to assign the quiz tomorrow afternoon after I finish with my synchronous meeting for the other two physical science class. And then you guys have until, Saturday night or Sunday morning to submit it. And I'll put grade in on Sunday afternoon or so. So here's your base group again. Hopefully everyone have access to the slide so they can see their name on it. If you don't see your name on it, please feel free to join group number 5, okay? So if you don't see your name on it, join group number 5. So in your notebook last time, I asked you to write down the experiment for walking and running in the rain. We're going to be talking about that first. And then the second activity today, which is in about 4 or 5 minutes, I'm going to send you to your base group. And I want you to write a hypothesis, if, an action, then the consequences, okay? Because, da-da-da-da. And then I also want you to have an experiment to test if it works or not. So looking at me, most of you would think I am in good health. However, sadly, on Tuesday, I went and got a physical, and I got my blood tested. Now, the only thing that changed about me in the last 6 months or so is I don't stand as much when I teach. And over summer break, because of COVID, I don't go outside as much as I used to in area. I used to like going grocery shopping where I at least get around and walk for 15 or 20 minutes. Even if I buy just some fruits or some vegetables, some meat, I get active. So when I got my blood tested, I noticed my bad cholesterol is just a little bit above healthy level. Now, I'm still average for America, but it is still slightly above the healthy level a little bit. And your bad cholesterol can go up if you don't exercise as much. My good cholesterol is still way above average, which is a good thing because I do eat a lot of nuts, berry, and some fish because I do fish. I keep some fish once in a while. So how can I test out a way for me to decrease my bad cholesterol? Earlier I said my logical reason I can think of for my observation is I don't move as much, right? So if I were to create an experiment, what I can do is every day I would have to have my alarm ring, say right after dinner, and I force myself to go walk for 20 minutes or run for 20 minutes at least 5 times a week, except when I have guests around or things like that. Like my fiance is coming from California today. At midnight, I'm not going to be able to run for 20 minutes after dinner tomorrow, for example. But I can invite her to go out and walk with me, and so on. So I would keep everything the same. I'll still eat the same food. I'll still get the same amount of sleep. The only thing difference is I'm going to change my exercise level by adding 20 minutes at least 4 or 5 times a week. That's an example of an experiment. So as you can see, an experiment is not that hard to create. So let's talk about walking in the rain and running in the rain. I need you guys to unmute your microphone for a little bit. Okay, I'm not going to force you to take up your cam, but I'm going to call on your name, and each one of you tell me what you wrote down for your experiment related to walking in the rain or running in the rain that I asked you to write down on page 5 in your notebook. What is something that you would measure to test if they, are wetter or dry or not? So we'll start out with Maddie first. Go ahead. Madeline Gray. Do you have that done yet in your notebook?
Yeah, I do. I just have to find it quick.
Okay, take your time. Okay. In that case, everyone take a minute to go find their notebook. You only need to tell me about a sentence or two. Okay. How will you test who's wetter, walking in the rain or running in the rain? So we'll be respectful of Maddie as she's finding it, and we'll have it go in a little bit.
Okay, so you have sprinklers to simulate the rain, and then you have 20 kids who are about all the same size wearing the same shirt, and then you weigh the shirt at the beginning and at the end, and 10 kids walk and 10 kids run.
Okay. So Maddie covered most of the point I want to cover, right? So for today, because someone did their work, I'm not going to call on all of you. I might just jump to a couple ladies and a couple gentlemen, okay? So let me just jump to another person. Isosa, can you add anything or have anything different from Maddie at all? So Isosa, can you unmute your microphone and see if you have any detail that she might miss that we can contribute or any other detail you want to note?
Mine was find a time when it's raining and then have a few people walking it and have them running it and see how wet they get.
Okay, so how will you know how wet they get? Are you just gonna visually look at them and see how much rain sticks to the body, or you're gonna have a more accurate way, like Maddie? You heard what Maddie said, right? She would measure the clothes before and after, right? So from that, maybe Asosa can learn from Maddie in this case and add a little bit more detail. What else do you notice, Asosa, that's different between you and your Maddie experiment? Why is her a little bit more accurate? As I said, your experiment is fine. What else did you notice that was different?
Because of them wearing different shirts between people who are walking and running.
Okay. And you also notice you say you pick a time when it's raining, right? And we all know that rain can go from very heavy to very light, which happened to me yesterday when I was driving to my fishing spot. So in Maddie's case, what she did was she used a sprinkler instead. Okay. So you guys see that an experiment like that requires very low time to study and thing. But just to add more detail, and I know Andrew just joined us, go ahead and open the link. Here is my summary of that experiment. If I were to do it quickly, okay? What am I measuring? I'm measuring the difference between the speed, walking and raining. What am I collecting? How much rain sticks onto the body. And just like Maddie did, I would measure the weight of the clothing. What should be the same between the two groups? Now, none of you mentioned this because I only asked two of you, but maybe some of you thought of this because you have the same observation skill as me. Maddie said pick them as similar as they can, but here's one thing about human is we actually have identical twins, right? Which not only have roughly the same shape, but they also most of the time have roughly the same weight, the same body style, and so on, and habit when they walk versus run. So I would have one identical twin walk, one identical twin run, and I want at least 10 different pair because one data point doesn't give you a very good line, right? Imagine if I just have 1 point and 1 point, it doesn't really make a very good graph of a curve. So you want more point, the better. Okay? And of course, the range should be the same. So like Manny said, one of you guys probably thought about it, is to keep them the same by using a sprinkler or something else. So here's the task for today. Okay, so if you're in group 1, which if you see your name on slide number 2, you're in group 1, you're going to try to write a hypothesis in the slide. If something, then something. So let me just use group 1 example. What happened to my body if I take out sugar beverage in my diet for 3 months? One other thing that I got back from my lab result is I'm slightly pre-diabetic. Oh my God, Mr. Vu might have diabetes. Okay, slightly, that means I'm right on the edge of normal people and people who are beginning to have pre-diabetes. So one experiment I also going to do with my body is instead of just walking alone, which is good for my cholesterol, walking is also good for my blood sugar. So today, I have not had any soda yet. This bottle of soda of mine that I drank a few days ago before my lab, I haven't touched it all day. So I'm only going to have soda or juice like on special occasion or when, my food is just really rich and I want something to cleanse my palate. I might have a half a glass instead of a full glass. So what would be an experiment I can do with this? So think about that. My hypothesis, for example, for this one would be if I drink less soda or no soda, then my blood sugar will be better. Does that make sense? Unmute your microphone, yes or no? Is that a
Yeah.
Okay, so if I drink less soda or juice, then my blood sugar will be better. So honestly, I'm 40. I'm not that old, but if I have kids next year, after I get married this year, actually I'll get married next year. If I have kids in a couple years, I guess, I want to be as healthy as I can for them because I know diabetes run in my family. And so I'm going to have to limit my sugar intake down. Or instead of sugar, I will eat fruit, which has more fiber and is not as concentrated. Okay, group 2. You're going to ask, which headphone should I buy? Beat Studio 3 or Sony WH-1000X4. You guys don't need to know which one is which. You just need to create an experiment. And so you would start without, for example, if I like Sony, then I think Sony is going to be better than Beat. If I like Beat, then I think Beats are going to be better than Sony. You don't know if it's right or wrong. That's why you're going to create an experiment, okay? So you might have to survey people. Group 3 is I have my Bluetooth headphone here, as you guys see. This is my Sony MX-1000. Cost, right? It has no wire. But what if I walk away from my phone? how far can I stay away from my phone and still be able to hear it? So yesterday I did this experiment where I was mowing the lawn right after class. Actually, right after my meeting, because there was no class yesterday. I left my phone right next to the window inside the house, and I was able to hear my music as I mow most of the house. But when I got pretty far to the opposite corner, I noticed the signal died. So if I were to measure the distance, I want to see what's the maximum distance. So how will you test that? So you might want to start out with, if I have my Bluetooth headphone on, then I can get maybe 50 feet away from the house. You don't know if it's going to be 50, 60, 40, but you can easily test that out, right? Think of a way to test that out. You would start at 1 feet, 2 feet, and you keep going. Or you might want to measure how many steps that would be if you don't have, a ruler. Step number 4, group number 4, which apple tastes sweeter? You don't know which one it is. If you haven't tried it out, it's okay. But just make a prediction. If I were to try Red Delicious, because the name Delicious, for example, then I think it's going to taste sweeter, because redder usually means sweeter. You don't know if it's true or not. So you would have to survey people by having them do a taste test. And then the last group is group number 5, is buying a $250 pair of shoes, like a LeBron James Nike, better than, say, $110 pair of Nike shoes, right? Is $250 much better? If so, how can I test it out? So you might have people try out shoes, and what are you gonna measure? Are you gonna measure comfort level? Or you measure speed, how high they can jump? And so that's what you have to do. So once again, I'll put the link in the chat. And I want you guys all to go to this slide, which is slide number 2. Find your group and meet with your group, and go ahead and edit the slide that has your group number on it. So if you're in group 1, you're going to write down the hypothesis after you guys talk about it. Feel free, if you have a strong opinion, speak it out. We all class, feel free to do it, okay? So I want you all to do it for about, let's say, 12 minutes until 12:55, okay? Until 12:55. I'm going to be hopping in all of your group, and I should be seeing all of your group working on the slide. So go ahead and leave this link on and mute yourself on this one, and then go ahead and hop to the other one until 12:55.